record. Good day. It is into November. The world's changing fast. We are gathered to talk about East Asia international management. Today, we're going to be focusing on Vietnamese management and your management, how you guys can grow and develop, not just with the massive interest in Koreans developing businesses in Vietnam, which I have a personal interest in. I already own a company there and some property there, and our one of our professors is there. But we have two other professors that are going to be able to talk about Vietnamese management today, Quynh Su Kim and Hyanak Do. Before we get into their presentation, I want to open information for anybody to request your ability to present something. So are there any other participants today that would like to share a screen or share details? Anybody wants to be able to show materials today?
Professor, me and Hojin prepare something, so can you co-host me and Hojin?
Yes. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay. Wow, we're somebody just was saying, I was scanning the news files today, and they're saying I think it's 6 or 7 weeks away from Christmas. Oh my God, Christmas! The class will definitely be finished. You guys are supposed to be relaxing by then, but make sure you are clear about your class activities, what you need to do to complete our class, and be very clear that I think the class should not be your priority. You should prioritize yourself and remember that being a student is nice, but most of the world cares more about business executives, consultants. So start thinking of yourself as a consultant and a specialist, and stop thinking of yourself just as a student, and promote all of this stuff online. Practice with our class, right? Practice asking for your consulting fees, which are class grade points. And you can't just say, pay me for my consulting fees. You need to show them your invoice or show them the work you did. So that's why you show your link to your Google folder where it shows what you've done. If you have articles, ideally, you have researched one article each week and you've shared that each week, and that's clear, at least 1 point for that. And because the world is changing incredibly fast, we are working online. Most people are starting to research how the artificial intelligence is important, big data and analytics, social media analytics, Google Analytics, insights programs, the Internet of Things, machine learning, all of those things you're starting to realize are very, very important. The idea of working with the internet impacts all of us. It is confusing at the beginning sometimes, not just reading stories. There are some of our students that are reading a lot of articles about it, but actually doing it. So our class is actually online. You can interact with the Excel file anywhere in the world. Some of you are in Vietnam, some of you may be in other countries, and you can still work online in Google folders, in Excel, in Word documents, in PPT, all together at the same time. By sharing that information in our Excel file, you're entitled to your pay or your points. Do not allow your self-reliance criterion, do not allow your normal habits to hurt you. Your normal habits of most students are to wait until the last part of the class and then do your final report. So that hurts you. Start working online now. And this week, I want to be clear again. I'm trying to be as generous as possible to help you move online and help you with proactive management. So in week 1, I was announcing that by as soon as possible at the beginning of class, you need to start your project and tell the class what is your project, what focuses are you going to have. Then by week 7 or midterm time, you are supposed to share the work you've started. And I know most students usually wait until Christmas to start. And so I am going to give you up to 5 more points, maybe more if you guys negotiate well, please try, by sharing your research articles. I don't expect anybody to be finished your research articles, but I really want you to think of yourselves as business people. I don't want you to continue thinking of yourself as a student. You guys have a lot of potential to be more successful than Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, like the Rockefellers that were over $600 billion because they were in an era when steel and oil and trains started. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were in an era of when personal computers and programming started. You are in the era of globalization with the internet, with Internet of Things, with mobile devices plugged into your brains, and some people actually having computer chips literally inside their head, in their brains. That didn't happen before, and you guys can connect with anybody anywhere, and companies are stopping or they're reducing how many people they hire for life. You should immediately plan to be a consultant, even if you want to be an employee in a company or you want to be your own boss. As a minimum, it's a good backup plan, wherever you want to work in East Asia or international management, whether it's Japan, China, Vietnam, Korea, Taiwan, anywhere, you should build your LinkedIn profile. You should build your profile that might help you in the world's biggest market in China. Sorry, definitely the world's biggest market is not Korea. Korea is only like 50 million people. Make sure you're aware of the bigger picture. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, attach that in your PPT. If you have a LinkedIn profile or an email address, attach that in your term paper. Attach that in the video you need to make. Use that perhaps in your grant that you're going to talk about. Make sure that stuff's clear. So I'm taking up too much time. I'm going to try to reduce this. Let's hand it over to the new professors today. Kanato, and was it? Do you have any special questions or comments you'd like to talk about?
For now,
you can start your class since you're going to be presenting about the Vietnamese management today.
oh, okay, thank you, Professor. Oh.
So I'll start. Welcome to the class East Asian Management. So today we will look into Vietnamese management analysis, and my group member is Hyunak Do and Gonsu Kim. So there's an email that if anyone wants to contact us, you can contact us through this email. So we are majoring the international business. So this is a table of the contents about the Vietnamese business culture, rationale, identity, authority, and business system ownership, networking management, and motivation, trade union, advantages and disadvantages in doing business in Vietnam, and international activities. So in the beginning, we will discuss about the Vietnam cultures. So the next, yeah. Vietnam is located on the eastern margin of Indonesia, in Indo-Chinese Peninsula, and it borders the Gulf of Thailand, Gulf of Tonkin, and Pacific Ocean, along with China, Laos, and Cambodia. So there are about 89 million people in Vietnam and considered to be one of the most potential growth country. As you can see the chart, GDP growth has been increased 123% since 2008 and is expected to be grow more. And the most fundamental features of the Vietnam are the collectivism structure and Confucianism. And we are going to learn about how those two factors have affected societal culture and business cultures in Vietnamese management. Next. So here is the journal article. These have helped us on learning of Vietnamese both societal culture aspects and business cultures. We believe these articles are reliable since there is a DOI code and are listed on the Scopus website. And the title is the Getting to the Real Story, what Vietnamese business people wish foreigners understood about doing business in emerging and transition countries like Vietnam. Another one is regional difference in the organization comment relationship in Vietnam. So the next. But first, knowing about the Vietnamese management, the first level of business system refers to culture, which consists of rational, identity, and authority. These three dimensions are used to present the culture of Vietnam. Next. The rationale. The Confucian values place strong emphasis on the importance of society and group. These values have influenced the Vietnamese society and promoted those people and organizations devoting their efforts for the benefit of the community and of the country as a whole, not just for the individualism. So next. So therefore, the SOEs, the state-owned enterprise firms are prevalent in the early of Vietnam society, which has acted as a government's important macro regulation tool and ultimately played as a director role in the economy. However, since most of firms are regulated by the government, the performance weren't not so effective. Next. Since 1991, after the collapse of the former Soviet Union, it began transforming its economy into a socialist-oriented market economy with the feature of both a state-directed economy and a mixed economy. Therefore, the privatization has been implemented. The growth of these firms perceived as a driver of the improvement of economic well-being of citizens through generating wealth and employment at the ground level and having a significant impact on societal systems. Next. The next one is identity. The characteristics of Confucianism are diligence, hierarchical relationship, driftness, harmony, and humility. Since Vietnam is considered to be a traditional and collectivist country, the patriotic and high level of national pride is very important among the Vietnam. Next. Before the Doi Moi policy, the centrally planned economy was dominated with the state-owned enterprises, as I previously mentioned, and while the private sector was hampered. This is because the collectivism feature has put more concerns on public interest rather than individual benefits. However, the Doi Moi policy has changed the game of economy. Doi Moi is the name given to the economic reforms initiated in Vietnam in 1986 with the goal of creating a socialist-oriented market economy. Doi Moi policy enabled Vietnam to coexist with many of values, attitudes, and behaviors that are associated with the traditional Vietnamese culture and integration with international cultures. Next. So this has provided economic revolutions in Vietnam and consequently leads to increase in level of materialism, and materialism plays important role in since it signals their success and identity, and it also helps businessmen in Vietnamese to display their prestige and gain trust from business partners. Next. And Vietnam is a high context culture. They stress the importance of relationship, and therefore the good personal relationship with business partner is a tip for success. This also means that they rely more on social relationships rather than written descriptions, and very careful when it comes to disputes, so that they tend to avoid conflict before it occurs. In organization, the power distance is huge, so centralized in terms of power and decision often made centrally. So next. So as you can see the text, Westerners may see the humility and modesty of the Vietnamese people as indirect and deceitful, while the Vietnamese may see the individual assertiveness of Westerners as arrogant and tactless. So as you can read this text, there's a cultural difference, and mostly in Vietnam, it is affected by the collectivism and Confucianism. So they tend to avoid the conflict. So the next one. So third one is authority. The Confucianism has strong relationship with hierarchical values when it comes to business. Business management style is more authoritative than participative, so that the decision making is characterized as top-down. However, the extent of delegation is low. In socialistic aspect, although Vietnamese men and women are equal under the law, the gender prejudice and gender stereotypes and patriarchal thinking are still predominant in many areas of the society. However, there has been an increasing active participation of Vietnamese women in business and social activities recently. So the trend is kind of changing, and in the future, the more of women participation will be increased. So next,
So prior to 1986, Vietnamese economy was a common economy, which is that the state owned all businesses and allocated resources to state owned enterprises while restricting the development of private enterprises. There were only two legally recognized forms of ownership in Vietnam and has changed from 1986. It has transformed the centrally planned system with state-owned enterprises to dominance to a market-oriented economy with multi-sector economic structure and multi-ownership system. These changes resulted a tremendous growth in private enterprises when state-owned enterprises has been downsized. With this change in Vietnam, Vietnamese SOEs have faced increasing competition pressure from other firms. And globalization has brought about several types of production to Vietnam and thus also brought changes in consuming style. There are different types of production networks subject to different economic sectors and types of ownership. FDI companies in Vietnam dominate production chains of automobile, motorcycle, and electronic industries, while domestic companies dominate textile and garment industries, real estate, banking and finance, mining, and electricity production. Also, the government of Vietnam thinks of developing industrial parks and processing zones as a very important policy. The government has promoted industrial parks and clusters that would give favorable conditions to run the business like good infrastructure, labor training, and administrative procedures. Also from 2005, the government has promoted economic groups which are expected to operate like big business group in Japan and Korea. And this promotion has made 12 economic groups in many fields and promoted vertical and horizontal coordination of production chains. And deeply rooted in the centrally planned system for many years, Vietnamese firms are often associated with such characteristics as centralized decision-making, complex structures with multi-layers and departments, task duplications, and difficult procedures in handling. These characteristics are manifested strongly, especially in SOEs. The culture of SOEs is often characterized by collective responsibility ambiguity of decision responsibility, and an absence of feedback on performance evaluation. In other words, it is considered as no owner company culture. As a result, SOE's performance has been poor. Through the equitization process, Vietnamese government strongly believed that the equitized SOEs would perform better than their former SOEs, and changes in ownership and market conditions have made SOEs to be more market and people-oriented. To successfully face harsh competition, SOEs needed to raise managerial competencies, including human resource management. In practice, the ESOEs have begun to apply HRM practices that are generally common in FDI firms and in SOEs and public sectors. It is necessary to show appropriate respect according to the position, age, and education level in promotion. Seniority is heavily considered, although merit and capability is getting more attention in some firms.
Before you move on, can we just pause there? Can you go back for a second to Vietnamese management? So we don't give hints to people. We have gone through, I don't know, almost 20 minutes of class so far, and I've only heard from a few people. That means only those few people are promoting themselves. The rest of the world watching might learn from just those few people. Please understand that I want you to realize you guys have a lot of potential. You can do almost anything, but you cannot wait for those opportunities to just come to you. You have to go out, do something, and grab them. So, Jiwan So, Hamin Park, Juk Tong, all students today. Is there a reason you're being quiet? Is it because you're just so in love with Professor Hyanak Do that you're just in shock and awe at him? Is there absolutely nothing you can comment on? I want you to not just think about your motivation, but do something about your motivation. So in the past, Vietnam was a small country that people only knew related to an international war. Well, that's long gone. It was before you were even born. Also in the past was lifelong employment. That's quickly disappearing. And also in the past, students used to go to school because other people told them to. They used to try to graduate, and then they used to afterwards think about what jobs they may get. Well, that time should be long gone. You need to start thinking in 2020 ideology, 2020 framework. So we work online. There's no difference between you and me. There are teenagers that are multimillionaires because they have developed apps or companies. There are young people that have become billionaires with cryptocurrency and all sorts of new ideas. The world is changing rapidly. We are mostly focused on Korea. You know, Gangnam Style with Psy, he went from nobody knowing him to billions of people knowing him, sometimes within 24 hours with one video. That's why our class requires us to use a video, or at least start working with it. So, can I hear 2 students' comments? We have heard quite a lot from me, too much from me. This should be run by you. I'm going to keep babbling away and wasting everybody's time until some other professors, students, start being more proactive and control your own motivation, because the next slide talks a little bit more about motivation. Before you get help from these professors, let's hear from somebody else. We can wait quietly if you want, but that's kind of boring. I apologize. I'm going to kick Professor Hyanak Do and Gunsu Kim off for a second and show you guys part of my screen. Again, my intention is to show you guys our class is online. You can see here, EAM class on Art of War is here. So you could have watched this, learned from it. With Art of War, you need to know your environment. You need to know the train. Well, your environment is living online. There are new countries, there are new laws that now require people, you cannot go outside to work. You can only go outside for emergency purposes. Some cities are requiring you to work online. So do it. We are online. Use today's class as an opportunity. Next, there's several other articles. Again, please interrupt me. There's several students, Gunsu Kim and Hyunnak Do, you guys are the current professors. You should be getting your class, your trainees to participate, because the most valuable thing for Gunsu Kim and Hyunnak Do right now is not presenting your idea. The most valuable thing for you guys is mutual benefit. Check the others understand. Check the others care. Network with them. Learn how to improve your presentation, because this is small. This is maybe 10 marks. At the end of the year, there's a big project worth almost 60 marks. So work with your social capital. What is another word for social capital? Easter, Jiwanso, Hamin Park, any of you?
광시.
Right, thank you. So you know of it. Why are you not building it? How can you build it more? This phase here, this what I'm showing, can somebody talk to me? What am I showing here, and why was it important in class?
To know whether the people are participating in the class or not. So no.
Maybe what I'm trying to focus on now is the trends that impact you related to China. What trends impact you? Yeah, you guys can see that screen. What trends impact you?
SNS?
SNS, yes. You professors, obviously you're professors, you're managing, but get your classmates to participate more. You will benefit if you learn from your audience, what they like, what they know, what they appreciate, and more importantly, learn from them. Get improvements from them. Anybody? Somebody help me out. It's going to be a long so class if you guys keep waiting. Juksong, are you sleeping?
No, Professor, I'm here. And in my opinion, well, thanks to the improvement of technologies such as internet, we can, contact many things. Compared with the past, we can do a lot of things without any kind of limitations, such as the location or the speed. So, one of the most important trends in the current management situation is the utilization of the internet and many other technologies.
So talk about you, talk about me, talk about Jiwanso, talk about Habenso, talk about Easter, talk about your classmates. Why should they care? What should they be doing now? What is the trend impacting you today? To give you a hint, the old habit was to sit quietly in class until basically you graduate, and then you hope you get a job. Well, that does not happen anymore. How many of you know in class somebody that has graduated and doesn't have an amazing job? How many of you know somebody that graduated from university and is kind of complaining that, their job sucks or what they're doing now is not ideal? Let me change it around. Let's flip that. How many of you seriously know any friends or friends of friends that have graduated and have their ideal, perfect job? Anybody? So what can you do about it? Next, somebody? Let's hear somebody else talk before I do the Korean thing and pick somebody to talk. Please, somebody volunteer. That's what you need to do. The world is not going to invite you to get a job. You have to reach out and get it. Now, what am I showing? This is a bigger hint. Hey, Ben, so I see you at the top, and thank you. You have your video on, so your environment is helping you more than it's helping. Let me see some of the other classmates. Hamin Park, I can't see you, you don't exist. Jiwan So, I can't see you, you don't exist. Kunsu Kim, even though you're our professor today, I can't see you, you don't really exist. Easter and Shiraz, I can't see you, you don't exist. It's going to be super hard for you guys that are just showing your title to be noticed. If you have difficulty being noticed, it's going to be very hard to get a job. You need to be noticed. So can one of you guess? Just try teaching anything about that slide. Why do you need to care about this slide?
Because those are the things that, like, because those are the things that changes the
Awesome.
trend nowadays.
I love the fact that the professor keeps talking. Your true Korean professor. Korean professors need to be quiet. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm really bad. Everybody's equal here. I'm not allowed to be rude. The Me Too movement, I'm not allowed to be racist or biased against professors. Go ahead, Professor Hanako.
Because the technologies written here are the trend makers nowadays.
Okay, and so why should you care? Why should any individual in this class care? What should you do about it now? The old bad way is to sit and just listen to a professor until you graduate and then you hope to get a job. Does anybody think I'm crazy? Maybe because I'm in Canada, I'm a Canadian guy, and in Canada, marijuana is like popular and legal. You guys think I've been smoking marijuana and I'm high? Do you disagree with me? Do you seriously think you're going to be able to graduate from university and just get any job that somebody's just going to like knock on your door and give it to you and you're set in paradise? You need to do something different to help yourself. I'm trying to help. Maybe you think my class is chaotic because the world is chaotic. I'm exposing you to the world. We're working online where all information is out there. It's not clear. You don't have one person in front of you saying, today we only do this. Today, next day we only do that. We have millions of pieces of information spread all over the place and you need to manage it. So how can you manage yourself now? Professor Kim, Professor Hyunak-do, please pick one of your trainees to comment how any student can benefit themselves today. They're built into our class requirements. How can you do your class requirements to help you? That's a hint. There's many possible answers.
Well, I believe like Ji Hwan-seo will be able to answer.
Great.
Yeah.
Such good way, such good way, because like he's doing his business in YouTube nowadays. Maybe he's
Awesome. I love to hear from you.
right?
Professor Ji Hwan-seo, talk to us.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you. Yes, Ji Hwan-seo, we're waiting for you to talk about your internet business.
I have no idea, Professor.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for admitting that. But the world will be kinder. Oh my God, look at Donald Trump. There's a heck of a lot of stuff he does not know at all, but he pretends to be an expert. And he says says certain things, even though most of the world knows he's wrong. Typical science, he's wrong, but he says it anyway. And because he tries to be creative, he became one of the most powerful men in the world for 4 years. Thank God he's gone now. But you need to learn to try to be creative. Guess. The more you guess at things, the easier it will be. So can you pick another classmate? Jiwon So, pick one of your other classmates. Quickly.
Hojin Chan.
Yes.
No, yes. Start talking. Start
Yeah,
teaching.
so
Start promoting yourself like Donald Trump.
the technology, yeah, we need to analyze the current trends and the usage of the technology these days, so that so through the technology development, the related technologies markets are also developing. So we have to analyze the current trends of the technology.
Good. You're speaking like a true professor. You're speaking like a great person. But can you pick one of your other classmates? Shiraz is quiet. Maybe you can pick him.
Yes.
We need to
Yes.
focus on not just a student idea. Students focus on studying. What my question is you is results. What can you do? What activity should you be doing? Not thinking about doing. What should you do today to help your life? Based on this, pick anything in here. How does this stimulate your creative, crazy ideas to make a better future for you or for me? Donald Trump's destroying the world. He's maybe old people are going to be living underneath bridges or in caves soon. You guys want me to live in a cave for retirement? What can you do to make the world a better place? Especially for you now, today. Shiraz, are you there? Shiraz is sleeping.
May I talk?
Go ahead.
Maybe I do some education, deep learning. Maybe.
So I didn't hear you. Do some education.
Yeah.
So learn about deep learning. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. Because deep learning is changing the world, and because most people don't know about it, if you do know about that which is changing the world, you will have an easier time in the future. You can get jobs easier. Yes. Great. What is another guess? Somebody do a Donald Trump. Tell me something about pink elephants or unicorns. Just practice managing yourself creatively, proactively. So, what do you need to do today that might possibly help your future tomorrow or any of your classmates? Because all of your classmates are just being quiet, listening to the teacher. Maybe they're going to wait until they graduate, and that's not ideal.
So for the class, you have to be proactive to get an opportunity to appeal yourself, and outside of the class, you have to try to do the networking where you want to work based on your ability, which is
Great.
Yeah, which is on the
That's
screen right now.
awesome ideas. Can you show any examples or even if it's imaginary? What could a student, like the old student just sits and listens to a professor for 4 years and then they hope they graduate and get a job. So what is an example of what you could be doing or are doing now?
For instance, Hojin and I was writing a term paper about the Google's technology. However, we changed into Samsung's new business, and we're focusing on focusing on Mr. Alonso Guzman's field, which is the Internet of Things. Yeah, and actually in the beginning of the class, we try to little bit like show the recapitulation of our projects. However, we lost the chance. So after this class, we're gonna show you for a short while.
Okay. I guess me bad. I think what she was politely saying is I interrupted her, so I lost her chance. That's not what I'm trying to mean. What I'm trying to say is you guys need to stop being so quiet. Stop following other people. Stop thinking I am powerful and almighty. Who's that guy in the, what is it, End of Days with Iron Man? The guy that snaps his finger with the glove and you guys disappear? You don't need to be afraid of me. Tell me to shut up. Tell me to be quiet. Promote yourself. And everybody's still quiet. Yes, thank you. Some students, they realize that artificial, as we can see on the screen here, artificial intelligence, it looks like the beginning of this life cycle. This is the tech life cycle. And they are understanding that the Internet of Things up here, it is, you guys can see it, right? There's Internet things here, artificial intelligence is here, almost all the technologies are here, blockchain, cryptocurrencies. You guys need to start working with that, living with that, and following Guangxi and following the art of war. Start interacting with people that might be able to give you jobs. Professors, most of them don't give you jobs. They just give you a degree and quickly that's losing value. You are similar to hundreds of millions of other people that graduate every year. Start trying to be more unique. Like Bill Gates, he was unique by starting the program in 1950, late 1950s, 1960s, before anybody else. So you guys can become a specialist in Internet of Things. Yes, identify your classwork is of interest to some executives and companies, interact with them, great. And understand that there are millions of other students studying the same topic. You can work with students in the United States, Canada, England, France, India, China, anywhere. Do it. Don't just wait until you graduate and are on your own again. I think I'm taking too much of your time. You guys understand? Gunsu Kim, can you summarize all this stuff that I was talking about? Do you understand my point? Why I'm trying to get people motivated to motivate themselves? Do you understand my point?
Actually kinda
no, I don't understand.
hard, but the I don't know, maybe trend is kind of changing to more like technological way, and the need of learning those fields are needed for those people, and or this kind of thing.
Yes, the trends have definitely changed, and you can't just watch life change in front of you. You need to change, not just waiting and start doing more. Yes, thanks. Go ahead. You guys can continue presenting.
Yep. Can you share the screen?
Well, and move on to motivation. Motivation is an important factor in Vietnamese management. Kurato, Hornsey, Naftiger, Roby Chart, and Macro had a survey about what motivates the Vietnamese workers the most, with a given set of categories, which are extrinsic compensation, independence, intrinsic compensation, and security. This survey has shown variety in result, but the most proportions were taken by intrinsic motivations, achieving a personal sense of accomplishment and having fun in the company. And after that, one researcher has investigated the motivation with 18 categories, including accomplishment, challenge, necessity, and security, under the condition of Vietnamese that puts more value in collectivism and unstable economic situation. The researcher had assumed that security and safety in business would motivate the workers more than challenges and risks. However, the result was interestingly opposite from the assumption. They are more motivated in doing business when they include such proactive behaviors, even if they may face risky situations in business. And in Vietnam, there is only one national trade union center named the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor, which is called VGCL. This is the highest level of trade union in Vietnam in the hierarchy of trade union, and it is regarded as a very important organization in Vietnam. This is usually very supportive to corporate business. Workers voluntarily join the trade union founded in the company, but it is not mandatory. The reasons of importance of this trade union are first, the build up in labor management system with the consideration of Vietnamese business law, culture and labor custom. And second, following the use of localized labor unions, Vietnamese workers with a relatively low sense of belonging or affection for the company will strengthen their sense of responsibility and sense of belonging and form a human bond if they participate and utilize the trade union well. And third, the trade union functions as a communication center between the company and the workers. And lastly, it brings an easier negotiation in disciplinary actions or retirements because the trade union takes the authority as a representatives of the workers according to Vietnamese trade union law. And oh, and this is the trade union structure schema. Just take a look at it briefly. And there are advantages and disadvantages in doing business in Vietnam. If the one starts the business in Vietnam, he would be able to get the government's active support in various bills, and that would be and there would be hundreds of thousands of people ready for working in his company, and the salary of Vietnamese workers is less than those in neighboring countries, and the cost of doing business in Vietnam is lower than that in other countries in the region. But yet the business owner will face low skill qualification of labor. And if the workers get offers from other companies with higher compensations, they might easily leave your company and you would face a shortage of skilled laborers while there exists an abundance of unskilled laborers. And since implementing Doi Moi policy, Vietnam has become more open towards the global market. The country has maintained high growth rate in non-oil export and increased share of manufacturing exports, though not yet becoming a significant player in international production network. Vietnamese products have been exported to many countries all over the world, and with the major destinations including the US, China, Japan, and Korea. FDI firms have increasing roles in exports. And in 2012, FDI firms contributed more than 60% of the total export values, with the main export items including technology, garment, and footwear products. And domestic firms' achievement was recognized mainly in exporting agricultural products. And outward FDI from Vietnam increased from 12 projects with registered capital at about 9,000 million US dollars to 718 project in September 2012 with registered capital at about 12,000 million US dollars. Laos and Cambodia are the most popular destinations, followed by the United States, Singapore, Korea, Russia, and Japan in terms of numbers of projects. And most popular sectors are mineral, electricity production, agriculture, and aquaculture, art and leisure activities, post and telecommunications. Some big business groups such as Viettel have been very proactive in international investment activities. A number of non-state companies have also been active in expanding their business in international markets with ambition to build global brands. And currently, Vietnam has been very strong in the world with economic growth since 2000, and the job market is also very active. HDI, which is currently growing steadily, has made it easier for HR managers to find people with a high level of skill and intelligence. and recruitment in Vietnam, where the cost between the labor force and the process is relatively low and leads to a greater competitiveness. And in addition, because recruitment through various media is not expensive, there are factors that allow you to find competent people hidden in various regions in the HR section. And due to the low labor force and the large number of laborable populations, it is also given an environment that is comfortable for quantity operation, firm and mother companies. And I think this is the end of our presentation, and these are the given quizzes. So the first one is, what are the two most fundamental values in Vietnam culture? And can you guess which one is the right answer here?
The answer is A, Confucianism and collectivism.
Why do you think it is?
Because I saw that in your PPT.
Thank you very much.
And this is the second one. What are the three keywords for the Vietnamese business culture?
Anyone?
Jiwan, can you answer for the question this time?
I guess I'm not allowed to answer, huh? Is somebody gonna give me pay? Is somebody gonna give me points?
Is it B?
Yes.
Yeah. And what kind of motivations what kind of motivations Vietnamese companies usually have here?
See how managing is hard?
So just connect with the term of the collectivism with this question.
To help motivate people. Again, I notice, and I'm writing down, Jong So, you answered the quiz. So even though your answer was incredibly brief and simple, I can give you 2 points for that. Jiwan So, oh my gosh, you only used one word, B. I'll give you 2 points for that. But come on, guys, this is getting a little crazy. You need to try doing more. Help me help you develop.
Professor,
Yes.
did I really get 2 points for that?
Oh, come on. Yes, I'll give you 2 points, but focus on what's important. That's not important. Honestly, class is not that important. It's your life that's important. You shouldn't worry about grades. I'm going to be as generous as possible. I'm giving marks away, but I'm doing it to try to help you change with the international requirements that everybody needs to live and survive. Unless your dad is Jeff Bezos, it's going to be hard to be really successful for a lot of you. There are ways, though, you can be more successful than Bill Gates. I'm just pointing it out. You can't just wait until this opportunity comes to you. It's there. You gotta take a step and do something new every day. Try every week, making a list of what are you going to do to start being more of a leader for your future. Go ahead, Jiwan So, since you gave one word before, can you comment? And don't say no. Guess. Go ahead. You can try to trick me if you want. Please.
Or maybe the second one is the answer. Number of workers in priority, where the family, since the Vietnamese is collectivism.
Well, that was a good guess. But unfortunately, that was wrong. And
Okay, so we'll give you what? 0.5 points for trying. Whoever that was, add your own 0.5 marks for just guessing ABC.
Yes, sister.
Can I guess?
Yes, you can. And you can get
yeah.
points if you do more.
Number 1.
Oh, why do you think like that? Can I ask you?
Good. Good.
Because yes, I've seen in PPT,
Mhm.
is that security is the one
No,
factor in Vietnamese.
well, at the end of the sentence, I just put question mark right over there. Well, one researcher has assumed that security is the most common factor. I mean, security is the most valued motivation, but that was actually untrue. But that was a good guess, Easter. Thank you for that.
So it's a good
between 3 and 4.
So yes, you can have 0.25 or 0.5 marks yourself, but you need to be active and put your own score in the Excel file. Next.
I think it's number 4.
Why do you think it's number 4?
I think the number 3 seems. I don't think they don't care about nothing.
Can you just give us some more specific reasons for your choice of number 4? Because that could not be a good.
I remember I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but I think when I was a former team of yours, I think I remember them having eagerness in challenging stuff.
Okay. Yeah, the answer for this question is number 4. You're right, Jiwon. Thank you. And the last one is the discussion topic. Why do you think it's really important to have trade union in the company? And what do you think of pros and cons of trade union? So can anybody make your voice? Yes, sister.
Who wants to go first?
I do.
Yep, go for it.
So the trade union is necessary to protect the employees' right.
Yes.
And I think the pros about it is that it can help to protect workers and promote higher wages and better benefits through collective bargaining. However, the con is that there are some trade unions which do a strike if the negotiation is not processed well. And in that case, the company and customers can get financial losses. Yeah, I think that.
Thank you for the answer.
Can you give us more information
about pros and cons?
Not you, Jungwoo. You've done well. You've done well.
Thank you.
Because Easter also raised her hands for answering the question. So can you give us some more information of your idea?
Because I think it's the same. That's why.
Okay. Thank you. And Professor, do you have some ideas?
I have lots of ideas. My ideas are the whole idea of that when you're talking about trade union, you're talking about many people doing trade, getting together, working together. And when you say that to me, I think Jack Ma. Alibaba grew from that. He almost had a multi-trillion-dollar company just by trying to bring people together, members doing trade together, and successful. So what do you think is important to have that? Because so many people now, I'm not talking about your textbook. I'm not talking about what theories may say. I'm talking about the big picture impacting every one of us anywhere in the world. You can now import things from South Africa or Argentina or China very easily. China, you might be able to import it in a few hours by air. Even from South Africa, it by ship, it only takes a few weeks. So it is everywhere around us. Some of the biggest companies in the world, not only Alibaba, which is a form of online trade union in some sense, but Jeff Bezos obviously is doing the same thing. He's helping people do trade online. I'm not talking about the idea of the traditional just employee union. I'm talking about just people getting together and working together to increase your opportunities and your rights. So that's what I'm talking about. The cons of that, when you are the old-fashioned person working in one company, hoping to have a job for life, you depend on your manager. Your boss gives you your contract, gives you your pay. He's supposed to make the profit for the company. And if trade unions are saying we want to work less and get more money, that's going to be the opposite of what he wants. So you're kind of making enemies with most managers of companies. Not all, but many. So be aware that there are good things and bad things. Another thing is in Korea, Korea is famous for having some of the most violent labor unions in the world, protesting a lot. So be aware of the history and the details, not just what the textbook is talking about. I'm sorry, I'm sure my answer was not what you were referring to. I'm just trying to get the students to think of the bigger picture. Can we go on to your, does anybody else want more points before we have other students talking? Going once, going twice. Okay, professors, can you go ahead and talk about your next slide?
Well, actually, the last slide is about the references that we've got some ideas and contents from. And well, we could get a lot of
Which is
information.
very important. Yeah.
Yes, and we could get some, we could get a lot of supports from professors' cloud file, like, and professor, can you just give us some examples? Can you just show us about
Sure.
folder?
Any student in class, you can get points for offering suggestions how to improve that. Since you guys took your screen away, I'm not going to take your screen away. I'm going to keep showing it. Now you can still do this. Let's go. Your whole presentation, all of this stuff is in our Google Drive folder, so anybody can do this stuff. And as we see here, can anybody in class show how we can improve this slide? Anybody? Come on, small little things like putting a space here, that's one. Everybody can always improve, especially me. I could improve by talking less. Somebody in class, help us out. How can we change this so it's even better next time around when we're trying to get 60 marks?
And also, I think the date of publishment of the article should be located right next to the name of the author.
Perfect. Yes, perfectly. So this type of thing here should be up here. Correct. So it's the name of the author, the date, the name of the title, and then the journal. Good, with a space between it. Thank you. Anything else?
And also, if the journal they referenced has some kind of issues, I mean the pages, those kind of information should be included at the end of the reference.
Yes, good. Page number is good. What else? Again, remember, what you are following is a good APA style, but it's the old-fashioned style. We are living in 2021 now. We're going to blink and we wake up next to people flying in spaceships. Everybody lives online, so what should everybody be thinking of? How can you be kinder? How can you provide more mutual benefit? How can you share this and not get kicked off of social media? Me bad. I told you guys to share the article on social media, and I really gave a headache to some students, and I feel really unfortunate about that. What could you do? Juksung, do you have your hand up, or are you just showing off you have beautiful hair, more hair than me?
Well, I will touch my hair, but I think we can include the DOI link for the for the reference as well.
The DOI or the exact website link. Yes, have a link so other people can find this article very quickly. Great, especially other students. If you have the DOI, it should be easy. With that said, every one of us has free access that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The university website saves us lots. Just by putting in the name of the title and the name of the journal, you should be able to find this in our on our library. Yes, but put that in as they identified 2012, 2017, 2014, 2013, 2004. These and some other mysterious year. These are a little bit old. It's awesome that you have this. Make sure that you try to also have Facebook. Make sure you also have newspaper stories, even fake news. Make sure you, if you want to get into graduate school, maybe you survey your graduate professor and put a quote from them here. Or if you want to work for a company, survey somebody in the company and put a quote from them here. Develop your guangxi. So surveying people and social media or news sites, that would help. Bless you. Hopefully you don't have coronavirus. Next, what I want to show you here is these students, awesome, are doing what you guys, yeah, you guys can all see my screen now, right? So the organizational culture of Vietnamese and Chinese corporations, talking about, you know, do students compared to old people, or do men versus women matter? Traditionally, people in Korea, you grew up where the answer was absolutely yes. Girls, whether it's true or not, they said you had a harder time to be successful making a difference than guys. And older people are supposed to get more credit than younger people. That's the old style. The new style is you guys can be billionaires in a very short amount of time, no matter if you're trans or LGBT plus, whatever you are. All is good. Next, the idea of organizational culture, leadership. How can you do these things in Vietnam? So they have articles here, and these articles are from 2020 and 2019. So these are really good. Make sure you not only get good articles like that, but realize Professor Gunsu Kim and Professor Kenak Do, they shared that online here. Or let me try again. It's not supposed to be in here. Oops, not sure. I will. My internet's not connecting quickly, but they have made a folder here where you can see these details. So inside this Vietnam management, you can see a lot of the different details. And inside here, there's many articles. Can you guys still hear me? Anybody? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good,
We hear
thanks. So there's lots of articles you can see related to Vietnamese management. And so students are presenting something, any student presenting, every other person in class, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, many different articles. This alone is more than you need to do for your class requirement. So you can get 60 points just by paying attention to today. Don't just watch as the world goes by. Be proactive. Everybody in class can complete the whole class activity and get probably 70 points just from this page of information. It's better if you modify details to yourself. And so let's go through that. That whole concept of what am I showing now? This is an old student from 2014. They not only shared details online, but these guys, they made a Facebook and a YouTube page. So there's many students in here, 15 students. They were showing all of their videos, all of their class projects, all of their research articles are in here. And they're talking about anything related to basic accounting, computer management, whatever, you can do that in here. Next, we went through class. There's videos online of us, for example, East Asian Management Class 1. It is online. You can watch it anytime. You don't need to just listen to me talk in class. I should not be talking in class because you see this. The idea of Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Hawthorne studies, Herzberg studies, McGregor. There are videos teaching this online. You can watch it anytime. Next chapter, I was teaching and it was already aligned, you need to know who you are and who are these other people you care about. How many of you have done the human metrics test? How many of you identified exactly who you are and who you want to work with? Who is a target person? For example, hey, so you contacted a potential great employer you might be able to work with. Have you identified that executive's style, that executive's personality, their character, what they are interested in? If you identify who they are and then try to help them, consider some sort of management to help them with that, that may help your future. Next, the same thing about how you network. Start networking. Our class is almost finished. As soon as we finish, it's going to be a lot harder for me to keep helping you. Learn about your connections in Guangxi. The idea of what is similar when we're talking about Chinese management, what's similar between Chinese family businesses and Chinese state enterprises, that idea of to keep pace with modernization. What's the best way for you guys to do things? Stop just watching and slowly observing and start being more, unfortunately, like Donald Trump. Be more proactive. Start promoting yourself online. Promote yourself as a specialist now. Realize that we're past just this basic information of the internet booming. We are now in the age of everybody being active online. The idea of, here's a test question for later. Every one of you could get 2 points every time we go through a quiz if you guys don't do it. I have told you, you can share your research background, the background literature, and I'll give you maybe 5 points, maybe more if you want to negotiate well. But one other question is this. Let's see, who can we ask? Shiraz, are you in class? I haven't heard you yet today. Are you here yet, Shiraz? Going once, going twice. Shiraz, not in class. Okay, what about Hojin Chun? Can you teach this topic? What is amakudarai or akuna matata is what I'm talking about. Everybody in class should know about akuna matata. What is that?
Kuma matata.
I'm making a joke. Yes, I'm basically teaching this slide that you see on the line.
Oh, it means no problem.
Okay, try teaching more about what's on the slide. You guys can see this, right? I'm saying it wrong. Akuna Matata is easy to remember because almost everybody watched the video. But the real world word is amakudarai. You must know amakudarai. Akuna Matata means don't worry about tomorrow. That's what old-fashioned students think, and it's wrong. You have to worry about tomorrow. You need to start doing something today. You need to start doing amakudarai today. This was taught in it is a Japanese term talking about how the government officers, senior people in government, senior people in company, and students or senior people in universities, they shift, they rotate in a three-way triangle. So you go from school into companies, and then once you get high in companies, you get into the government, go back and they advise universities or they advise companies. It keeps going around in a cycle. They're connected. That social capital, the Guangxi, it is a reality. Top universities in Japan, Korea, almost every country in the world survive this way. This is in the United States. It's in Japan. This term is talking about Japanese senior politicians. They retire and they become an executive in a company. And then they can be an advisor for universities. So amakudarai is the practice of shifting bureaucrats to industries, to public sector, and then back to universities again. So we understand, part of that. That's what we're talking about here. Is that clear? How about Jung Woo So? Is that clear to you? What is amakudarai?
Yes, maybe.
Okay, can you try to summarize it before we move on? And again, Hojin Chun and Haben So, your professor is so terribly rude. Maybe he interrupted you, but your professor loves you guys and thinks you guys have so much potential. He's trying to get you to push your way back in. Present whenever you're ready. Otherwise, I'm going to keep taking up a lot of time. You should not wait until somebody gives you a golden ticket. So go ahead. Somebody summarize what I just said. Going once. I wait 5 seconds and I go on. 5 seconds is all I can handle. Next, negotiating. I'm not saying you have to be rude, but I am saying you need to develop your negotiating skills. That idea of overwhelming size to intimidate others. I am just one old guy. You are a class full of young people. You guys should have more power than me. You guys pay my salary. You guys, I work for you, right? You can easily negotiate to get me to be more quiet. Start living up to that. When you make a decision in Japan, value the wider variety of opinions. Make sure that what I'm trying to teach, there's over 10 people in class. We should be listening to not just one person alone. We should be listening to the 9 other people and sharing experiences. So that's just part of your negotiation. And then, of course, online, the idea of you can share your information, get marks for that. Who else can I pick on? Somebody in class. What am I showing in this slide? Anybody want to get points? I'll give you a point just telling me what this is showing. What's the idea behind it? Jungwoo So, I see a yellow halo around you. Be my angel. Rescue me. Guess. Amen. So usually you talk a lot. You really, really impressed me at the beginning of the semester, but now you're getting kind of quiet. Why? Did I scare you away? Is my teaching worrying you? Why don't you talk in class anymore? Don't you love me anymore?
Well, I can only see the good quality of the food.
Remember what we taught here?
Yep.
Okay, let's say it. What are they doing here? What did we try to teach here?
So what is similar to the shape or the wood?
Yes, that's the small task they're doing. Why are they doing it?
To test the perceive of the material, personal.
Anybody? Can you? Thank you, Bunsu Kim. You got lots of points for your weekly presentation, and you should put more points, maybe another half a point, just for trying to teach the class what this is. Can anybody else in class guess what is the point of this whole video? Not just that one brick or dak is what they were teaching.
Professor, can I guess?
Yeah, please don't ask. Just go ahead and do it.
I think it say that the difference between the east the east and the east west. The west. I'm not sure, but I guess the most of Asia people say pick the same material, but the West tend to pick the same shape.
Absolutely, yes.
It
So what
led
I'm
to
telling you
the
that every single one
collectivism
of us,
and
we are different,
individualism.
right? The main point is you have been brought up to think one way, and you think everybody around you does it the same. You think it's normal to do that. You were taught in Korea to be quiet and obedient in class. This video is showing you, as soon as you go outside our border to the other side of the world, people think an opposite way. So you must realize that your way could be parochial, or at the most, it could be ethnocentric. You must realize you have to start thinking a different way. You have to start living a different way. You need to invest in your ability to try to be successful in China or North America international companies. So yes, that's what they were talking about here. And it's not good, it's not bad, it's just people think and do things differently. Now with 2020 or 2021 and technology, you need to start realizing there's more you can do than just get a degree. There's more you can do to start making a living as a specialist now. So yes, thank you. Make sure you give yourself points for that. What about this? This was my favorite thing. Do you guys remember the story of this?
Professor,
Yes.
I think
Please
it
tell me.
was about the characteristic of the Eastern kids that are eating the foods without self-selecting what they're gonna eat, but in Western country, the kids are used to select what they can eat. Is that right?
Yes. So we're taught that everybody should be loving their mom and dad. Whoever raised you, we should love you. But those people raised you, like in Asia, your parents decide what you eat. Whoever you sit down at the table with, usually you eat the same thing. They give you one food for everybody. But on the other side of the world, the parents just say to the young kid, you are hungry, you need to eat, go to the kitchen and eat. You know there's milk in the fridge, you know there's 20 different boxes of cereal, just take any cereal down and start eating. You know there's a lot of fruit in the fridge, take a piece of fruit and start eating. So the people on the other side of the world decide for themselves. While people in Asia, you wait and you memorize things and somebody else gives you even your food to survive. You're supposed to be developing your specialization. That's why your mom gave you your food. So why don't you help your mom and develop your specialization in class? Now, yes. And that same thing, the 2 million minutes, that's another video. It's showing that generally everybody in the world spends about 2 million minutes studying in high school. And when you're doing that, the Chinese and Koreans spend almost the most time on the planet studying crazy hard classes, versus in India, they spend like 100,000, it's almost 600,000 minutes you study in Korea and China. In Japan, sorry, in India, they're studying something like 300,000. In the United States, they're studying like 200,000. So it's a lot less. And in the United States, they're studying sports and things like that. So you're competing with those people. Be aware of that. Let's get this on. I think I've taken quite a bit of your time. Hibin, so do you have a topic you would like to teach today? You said that you had something that you wanted to present today.
Oh, she went to another class.
Okay, she already went. Does anybody? Ho-Jin Chun, you also were saying that you wanted to present something. I'll give you marks. You need to speak up.
Oh, so Hebin서 and I were doing the smartphone. Can I share the screen?
Yep, you can kick me off. I want you to kick me off.
Also, since we have little time, so I'm gonna make a quick. So we are focusing home farm, which is the one kind of smartphone. So we put some data about home farm and started to write the draft. The necessity of the smartphone in South Korea is more emphasized by the agricultural land comparison with other country. This is because the South Korea has a very small land size, the agricultural land size, compared to United
Okay.
States and China.
Thank you. You don't need to read everything and teach everything right now. Just show us what you've got here and I'll give you more points and explain.
Oh yeah, so we started to write the draft. And this is my part, and Heaven's is also, I cannot show you the Heaven's file.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so to deal the shrinking farmland in the South Korea, and farming was not limited to the agriculture side, but also expand to the rural side. So, and the vertical farming, which is the basic farming of the home farm, that made it possible for the urban agriculture. So we're gonna more talk about the vertical farming and home farm at the next time with Heaven's help.
Oh, okay, so what are you showing now? Can you shrink your screen so we can see the whole paper? If there's one slide, there one piece of paper, two pieces of paper, how many pieces of paper do you have here?
Oh, I didn't add the paper with Heaven's help. This is only my part, so so need 3
you
pages.
have great. You have 4 pages actually with several references, and you've started to use these references and you've written down a few comments from those. Perfect, ideal. And your partner did the same type of thing. So
yes.
these 2 students together may have 8 or 9 pages already written for your term paper. Ideal. Why should we care? Why did you do this? How did you get motivated to do this? Remind students why you're doing it.
Why am I doing this paper?
Did I ask you to do this? Am I going to give you points for this? Talk like that. Talk about that.
Because smart farm industry is emerging market these days, and world is caring about the food shortage and the population increases, and the aging society is the main issue in the world. And to deal the those problems, so we started to study about the smartphone, and then in the South Korea, not just smartphone is perfect to the South Korea, because the land size is very.
You're an amazing specialist. You know your details. What answer I was looking for is the professor said we get 5 more marks for showing our research. So I'm just showing my research. That's all I wanted you to tell the rest of your class. Thank you. Please put more points in the Excel file for what you just did, for both you and your partner. Okay?
Okay.
Claim that you're doing well. Remind students next class that we did this today. And maybe your partner can just take 5 seconds to flash, look, here's my 4 pages, here's my references. For example, this reference from Guhyun Jung 2019 is discussed right here. I'm just showing I have been developing my paper and my specialization. That's all you need to really say. Ask other students how you can improve.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
Bye.